Good morning students. Today we will discuss about the poem The Trees written by Adrian Rich. Students, The Trees is a highly sensitive poem about the trees by the established American poet Adrian Rich. In this poem she makes us realize how the forests are being forced to be devoured of trees and are being planted in the concrete jungles called cities. The trees in the poem are actually in the house and they are moving out into the forest during the night. They are trying to separate their roots from the veranda floor of the house so that they can go to the forest, which are without trees, and therefore no birds can sit there and no insects can hide there. Thus, the poem depicts a conflict between man and nature, or maybe between man and man as well, if the trees have been used to symbolize human beings. Let's start to discuss about the poem. The poet feels that the trees inside the house are moving out into the forest. As there were no trees in the forest, no birds could sit in the forest and no insects could hide as well. There was not even a single shaded place in that place. But according to the author or the poet, the forest that was empty all these nights will be full of trees in the morning, because the trees in the house are moving towards the forest. All through night, the roots of those trees worked to separate themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor. The leaves also made efforts to move towards the glass. Meanwhile, small twigs were stuffed with exertion, and small branches which were crowded in a small space for a long time were moving like bewildered patients who had just been allowed to leave the clinic after a long stay. On the other hand, the poet sits inside with doors open to the veranda, writing long letters in which she hardly mentions the departure of the forest from the house, though she does mention that she feels that the night is fresh and a full moon is shining in the clear and open sky. She also feels that the smell of leaves and lichens reaches into the room like a voice. She further says that her head is full of whispers of the moving trees, a sound which will not be there tomorrow because the tree will have moved back to the forest. The poet even mentions that as the trees are moving forward into the night, the winds rush to meet them while the moon seems to be like a broken mirror. This is because previously the forest was without trees, so the full view of the moon was easily visible. But as the trees have moved to the forest, now only a fragmented view of the moon is visible. Therefore, it shines like a broken mirror on the top of the tallest oak tree. Overall, the meaning behind this poem is to highlight the conflict between man and nature. Because of our constant need for development and our desire to want more and more, the nature has been reduced to such a large extent that the forests seem to have no trees anymore. The trees, which are our main source of life, and the flora and fauna which maintain the balance of this earth, have completely perished because of our greed. That is why no matter how many trees we plant in our houses, it does not compensate for the actual loss, because the fake nature cannot be equal to the actual one. The trees in the poem move out of the house so that they can become forests again. Only then will the birds sit on its branches again, the insects will hide around them, and there will be a shade to provide relief from the rays of the sun. Therefore, this poem gives voices to those trees which are yelling and screaming to be free from the cages the humans have put around them and fulfill the true purpose of their life in the free world outside. Thank you. Have a nice day.